Hi, Miss. Today, my group and I are going to talk about modal verbs and their use. But first, what are modal verbs and what are they for? Modal verbs are auxiliary verbs that we use to express an opinion about whether something is probable or possible. We also use them when talking about ability, asking permission, or making a request. For example, they can change the verb tense of main verb or indicate possibility, permission, or need for something.
The modal verbs are can, may, will, ought to, must, could, might, shall, should to, would. Although modal verbs are used in different cases and have different implications, they are usually placed in the same way in sentences. Let's see.
Structure. Affirmative form. Usually, the middle verb precedes the main verb of the sentence, which goes in the infinitive form, that is in the present tense. Structure. Subject, more middle verb, more principal verb, more complement. For example, I must make a decision.
Negative form. To make a negative phrase with a modal verb, we must add the adverb not after the modal with the exception of may. All verbs can be contracted in their negative form. Some of them just need to add the ending int at the end, although others change a bit more. For example, sent, won't, shouldn't. Structure. Subject plus modal verb plus not plus principal verb plus complement. For example, she can eat much fat.
Interrogative 4. When we want to ask something and there is a modal verb in the sentence, we must put the modal at the beginning of the sentence, followed by the subject and main verb, like this. Structure. Modal verb must, subject must, principal verb must complement. For example, should I send a letter?
All the modal verbs will depend on what you want to say. Can means that something is possible, possibility, or that someone is capable of doing something, ability. This verb is always used together with a main verb in its infinitive form. For example, we can take a taxi to the airport. Indicates possibility. She can't stay up all night. Indicates ability. Can you dance? Indicates ability. Cool. This modal verb is the past tense form of can. Its meaning is the same, but the verb tense expresses something that has already happened as referring to a skill that we had or that someone else had. It is also used to provide alternatives or possibilities and to ask for permission in a kinder and more formal way that it will be with can. For example, when I was young, I could sleep all night long. Indicates ability in the past. You could travel to London. Indicates probability. Could you help me? Indicates to ask for permission.
May. It's a variation of the verb can, but is a more formal modal verb. If you want to ask permission, this is a good way. With it you can count or establish a possibility. For example, that may be a good idea. Indicates probability. He may not come next week. Indicates probability. May I go to the bathroom? Indicates permission. Meet for suggestion or possibilities. This verb expresses it clearly. Its use depends on the context, being much more flexible than may. For example, you might call him tonight. You may not call her tomorrow. Meet it rains this evening. All three indicates probability in future.
5. Will. This is a verb that tells about the future, prediction, question, or cancer, establishes that it is possible or already possible for something to happen next. For example, they will wait for us, indicates cancer. There won't be a storm tomorrow, indicates future prediction. Will they wait for us, indicates cancer. 6. Wait. Talk about habits you used to make. It can also be used in the future, and your attention is to show that you are willing to do something or set condition. For example, I will eat that salad indicates intensity. I will not eat that salad indicates intensity. Will I go to that city indicates hypothetical future.
Most species need or a strong suggestion. It also implies that you can assume something. For example, must you always ask personal question indicates suggestion. You must be crazy to drive in this water indicates suggestion. The house must be built in this lot indicates need. Shall. This is a not very common verb because it is formal. Its meaning is like that of the verb will. It expresses something in relation to what can happen. For example, I shall go to Rome next summer. I shall pick you up at the airport. Shall we sing up for a piano class? All three indicates the relationship to something to happen in the future.
Should. It is used more giving advice, making or asking for suggestions and opinions, or to generate a certain level of expectation for something in the future. For example, he should lend use the money. She should not take the children with her to Houston. Should she be back be known? Oh, two. It is not very often that you come across this verb. However, its meaning is similar to that of should. For example, they ought to be here already. Marcos ought not to wear someone else's glasses. Ought they to live there?
Difference between modal verbs and how to use them correctly. Difference between can and may. Both the verb can and may are modal verbs, while can is used to express ability and something's permission in colloquial context. May is used to express possibility and to ask or give permission in formal context. For example, can I have a cookie indicates ability. May I have a cookie indicates permission or courtesy.
Differences between should and ought to. Should and ought to are two verbs that mean should. Absolute with the same sender is not noticeable differences between the two. But ought to express it in all English both when speaking is not present anywhere is it not a typical expression, while in should people can use it with great popularity. Should mean should advise when we express a suggested opinion, then we will be giving our opinion toward interlocutor. For example, it's Mary's birthday, you should call her, indicates advice. Or to mean should of implication when what we say is a true and style objective. For example, Mary, you ought to follow the university's policy or you will get expelled, indicates obligation.
Different between must and have to. Must is a simple modal verb and have to is a complex modal verb. It indicates a duty or having to do something. Must refers to a personal motivation, but have to refers to an external obligation such as rules, the law, something you have to do and that's it. For example, I must go to know Paris indicates personal motivation. I have to sign the contract this week indicates obligation.
A bird alone does not sign in need another to survive. For example, I can. We can see that it makes sense sign it does not have the main action so. This is a example that we see below where we can say that there is coherence. I can sing is contain the modal verb that is can and the other verb that is sing. To use modal verb correctly, you must keep in mind the two main rules. Number one, the modal as we can see it in that sentence always come before the verb that says. And number two, always parallels the verb that says in semi-infinitive.
The most serious mistake is to use the full infinitive form when using the modal. For example, I can to sing, I must to play, I should to work. You will never see it to a modal another verb that is paralyzed from. Simple manners also make an auxiliary. The auxiliary verb is a verb that has more functions, that is to say that you can do more things with it than with an ordinary verb. And that is what the auxiliary does, helps the main verb to make the negative and interrogative. For example, the positive from she thinks, negative she doesn't think, interrogative does she sing? Well, with modal verbs it will be like this. She can sing, she can't sing, can she sing? Something more summarized and easy to express.
Well, Miss has arrived at the end of the exposition. Next you will find the part that my partners and I said. Thanks for watching.